Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Chinezeslife. In today's video, we're gonna go ahead and get into another Insecure Season 4 review. So if you guys didn't tune into my previous video where I reviewed the season opener of Season 4 of Insecure, make sure to do so. And basically what I'm gonna be doing as the season progresses is just going through each episode that has come out and just kind of giving my thoughts on how I feel about everything, and then just opening up the platform for you guys as well, just so we're able to, discuss the show as it goes on. If you guys don't watch Insecure already, it's on HBO and they're rolling out the episodes like week by week. So unfortunately, we can't binge watch it, but this also allows for us to have more time to, actually get into an in-depth review of each episode. So in today's video, we actually have a special guest joining us all the way from Brooklyn, New York. So we're gonna go ahead and say hello to my friend Obi. Obi and I have been friends literally since like elementary school, right? Elementary school?
Facts. Elementary school, and I finally made it. I'm on.
You finally made it? What do you mean you finally made it? Obi, let's discuss. Yep. This is the first time that you've been featured before, but this is kind of like the first just one-on-one time. So Obi, why don't you tell us about yourself? What do you do? Where you went to school? Just different things like that. Just to give the people who haven't gotten the introduction into you, a little scope on who you are.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. This goes to show you that you just have to invest 15 years of friendship in someone.
Wait, has it been that long?
15 years, yes.
Wait, seriously? Oh my gosh. How old are we? This is so weird.
I know.
Literally adulting. I really wish you didn't say that, because now I'm gonna like go to sleep thinking about that. Like 15 years. Like what else has happened in 15 years? That's a long time.
Everything. But yeah, nice. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
What's up, everyone? My name is Obi Friye. I am from the 718. I do call Brooklyn home, but I lived upstate. That's where me and Chin know each other from.
Yep. Team Orange County.
The grade 845, the grade 45 as we call it. I don't claim it. It's only on my license. Went to school upstate too. Right now, I'm an education youth development specialist. I oversee a nonprofit program for Black and Latinx kids who are targeted by the criminal justice system. It's pretty much my life passion. If you know me at all, you know I love working with kids.
No, literally, Obi has always been so good with kids, and I just watch in amazement, like, how is this happening?
I'm sure many of you guys watching are 718 people. If you grew up in New York City and you see the New York City schools, it's the most segregated school system in the country.
That's a fact.
85% of the population, 85% of the school populations are comprised of 90% Black or Latinx kids. If you think about that, that means that
I didn't even know that.
School populations are made up of white students. But if you think about New York City as a whole, how it's broken up, you've got New York City is about 60% still a white population, especially if you consider Manhattan, the Staten Island area. So it makes you wonder where these white students are going. They're going to all the charter schools. They're going to the private
all the private schools, exactly, away.
So happy ability to go to. And you think about the funding that's brought to New York City schools, lack of IEP supports. You have just a lot of different issues that target these kids. So like, it's nice to be able to bring them someplace, come to like a system where they get to be kids, they get to like be who they are.
Exactly, and not just labeled or targeted or anything like that, because that's what happens like so often.
It's also really humbling to see like how like I still feel young, and I sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm not as young as I feel.
Yeah, right. This is a weird age. It's like we're old, but we're not old, but we're getting older day by day, and then we're like, wait, this is not what I thought this age was gonna feel like. So.
At all. I made an Alicia Keys reference the other day. No one knew what I was talking about.
Alicia Keys? Who's that? It's like...
It was the You Don't Know My Name song.
Oh,
like,
no.
This is the waitress from the coffee shop with the corner voice. And they were like, what are you doing? And I was like...
We gotta educate the youth. Just keep on playing the old school music, honestly. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the review of episode 2, which is titled Low-Key Distant. And before the show, Obi, didn't you actually say, I think I wrote, and I quote, that Lawrence and Issa will get back together by the end of the season, or by the end of this episode?
I think the end of this... Oh, chill. I said end of the season. Yeah, it makes no sense for him to still be around unless Condola is going to be like a main character, like phasing out Molly and putting Condola. What's the point of having him around this long? Like, to remind us of what could have been. This hurts.
I feel like he's around because, like, he literally has the same friend group, same friend circle. They're gonna come into contact with one another, so I feel like that's really the main reason, like, LA seems pretty small. On that show,
There
at
is no
least.
way there's that many. There's that. Baldwinville, Inglewood, Ladera Heights. I'm from the 718 and I know this. There are so many black neighborhoods. You go out
I
there,
just feel like for sake of the show, they just had to do what they had to do.
honestly though, like I love having Lawrence there because his hairline is goals. That's what I aspire to be every time.
So it looks like Obi is Team Lawrence is what we're getting at.
No, I'm Team Lawrence's hairline.
Okay, just Team Lawrence's hairline. We're gonna have to put that just like in really big letters. Speaking of Condola, how do you feel about her relationship with Lawrence, just everything that happened in last episode?
I really want to like Condola, but I have two like issues with her.
Oh, there's issues.
Well, one of them is like a valid issue, and one of them is just like a me being petty issue. And,
Okay.
Like, you should know this about me. 15 years, you know I can be
I
petty.
I think we should know the petty issue first.
The petty issue is that I'm a huge like I'm going through. I guess I've really started to appreciate black-owned art a lot more.
Okay.
Actually, like I think about like when we were like kids, and we were watching TV shows, and like when we were watching just like black media at all. Like
Yeah.
we grew up with and Tyler Perry, and, like but now we live in like a renaissance where you
Kind of like genres or everything is more dense.
And if you guys are watching 20s by Lena Waithe, phenomenal show. It's very relatable to being 20s. I love the fact that it's like from a black female queer perspective because how often do we get to hear those perspectives? But like, it's just really interesting how she's light skinned on here.
Yeah, once you have pointed that out, but honestly, a lot of the times I feel like it comes down to like the mood of the show and how they edit it. But it is kind of crazy that if they edit it in that way specifically to make her darker, you know, like is that what's going on? Like it's kind of.
My thing is, I give both Lena Waithe and like Issa Rae like the benefit of the doubt that
right. It's like I would hope that they're not doing that.
Colorism is such a big issue that's like not. It's always been a big issue in our community, but it's more at the forefront. Like we're more vocal about it.
Yeah.
And you would think like issues that are relating to specific topics like that. Like how often they talk about light-skinned women and like dark-skinned women, that relationship on both these shows, and yet you're going to have an actress on both of these shows.
Yeah, and they're running at the same time. That's just what makes it kind of. It's like, wait a minute, didn't I just see her in this? But she looked completely different. Like we didn't even get a few months go by.
I think it's like influenced my view of her though.
Okay.
But like low key, like I like the actress, so I like the character of Kendall a lot. It makes a lot of sense because Tiffany is so drags that we need to get rid of her.
That's what I was thinking too. At first, I thought that Condola was just gonna be like a friend, not knowing that she was a coworker friend. But either way, I think she's nice, and her and Issa's relationship seems to be blossoming as far as this episode went, which is a good thing. So while watching this episode, I kind of realized that I guess they were obviously flashing back to the past at a certain point, because I was kind of surprised to see Molly and Andrew together again at the beginning. I was just like, wait a minute, did that surprise you too?
It didn't surprise me that they were still there because, like, for example, I don't know if you remember like the episode that like the 30 days of Molly, 30 days of Lawrence, 30 days of Issa when they were like Regina and King directed at the end of season 3. It was still like I think
what happened in the episode?
Usually where like Lawrence and Issa they finally end the relationship, they'd be like talking in the apartment. He's like, I wish it could have been better for you. Like I should have cheated you with Daniel. Like that episode like 3 times.
That is a great synopsis. I shouldn't have cheated on you.
Like, oh, okay. So y'all be doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me not get too comfortable. I think I like it better though because it's like it's interesting to see like we already know what the game plan is. Like I think we're all getting to the point where we understand that the main relationship they're talking about this season isn't Issa with a guy, it's Issa and Molly. So I think there's how they both got there. Like you see like the Molly and Andrew stuff, you see like the Issa and like all of her stuff, and you see how they're getting disconnected. And I'm like, damn.
No, you literally in this episode too, you saw it like so much too, which was the crazy part. It's like things seem cool, but then you could kind of see that things started to get like a little bit tense, or like one party was just tuning out the other. So I was just like, ooh, this is how things start. But with Andrew though, I think I just didn't see him. I thought that he was being like open with her. I just assumed that he was open with her. So I guess it took time to build up to that. Because what we had seen in the first episode, I'm just like, whoa, like I'm surprised that this is coming from him. Then I'm like, oh, this is probably in the past. And I liked how he did like end up apologizing too, basically being like, you know, like he's just struggling with like opening up.
It's interesting though, like he's like I wonder what like their goal is with Molly, because I guess like her whole, even from the first episode, her whole thing has been like, I'm trying to get married and become like my parents and all that. And then she literally
Exactly. It's
said
like,
like,
does
I'm
she
trying to
even
help the
really
black.
want that though, or does she just want that because
That's
that's
what I'm
what her
saying.
parents want for her?
I think that's why like she got really pressed when Issa made that comment about like, do we even want to be happy? Because I felt
Yeah.
that like her being like, real talk, like you've had all these chances now to like, you have all these good men around you and all this stuff, and then like
Yeah.
you out here hooking up with this man who has a whole life.
Right, exactly. Talking about mess, I'm like, wait a minute. Now, Molly, it's kind
I
of
was
your
like,
life. Your
are
life
we
is
going
messy
there? Are
too.
we going there? I was like, but it's really
Yeah.
funny. Like, that's one thing I love about the show is that that's relatable because I do that too. I'm always so quick to point out, like, I'm like, oh, you really want to do that? I'm like,
Oh yeah,
yes, I
well
really want
yeah,
to
I
do that.
think I think that that's what's important too. Because I was gonna say like, do you think that Issa was too harsh in what she said? But honestly, like, I feel like she's just being a real friend. Like, don't you want better for yourself at a certain point? It's like literally like, what is? It's not. It would be different if the stories were like better in a sense. But like, you're literally already involving yourself in something that you're either not ready for or that just doesn't seem like a good idea to begin with. So it's like you're picking to do these things that you know aren't going to be good for you.
My whole thing about friends is that the idea that the whole point of friendship is complete honesty, I think is BS. Because, like, ain't it like, no. My whole thing about it is that people are intersectional people. We all have different identities and different points of views. So your truth may not be my truth. So if I know that I'm about to say something, my observation, and I know that it could be detrimental, like I feel like we all have this like sensor that we know if we can weigh like we can
What
weigh
someone can take in a sense.
well not only what someone can take but also like what we're gonna say is gonna do more damage than good. Like you
Okay.
didn't want
And
you didn't want Molly.
I think it's important how it's said too, because sometimes if you're coming off like so like either like narcissistic or like more so like, oh, like I'm better than you, or like different things like that, or just giving like bad vibes versus like more so just trying to be an understanding like friend in that way, it's kind of like it starts to like make you question the intention behind it, like how they really meant it.
It's true. Like you have to do the balance between being like you'll get your shit together and being like, hey, so I've noticed that you don't really have your shit together.
Yeah, like you don't like, are you trying to uplift them or are you just trying to like just shit on them basically? So I think there was a point like still early on in the episode where basically Issa and Condola, I guess they were on their way to either a meeting or lunch or just in between whatever they were doing, but they were just talking, and I guess something related to what Condola was going to be doing that weekend came up, and she was basically like, "Oh," Issa's like, "Oh, that's so romantic," and then Issa's like, "Oh, that's romantic," like remembering that Condola's with Lawrence. And then a whole thing started where they were just like trading like little stories on Lawrence. And I think that it was good that they just kind of like put things out into the open and just kind of like cleared the air completely, because it's like having that awkward tension, especially the fact that they were friends before any of this, it just kind of showed that they were both just ready to kind of like be over it, but then be over it in like a mature way.
I honestly thought that that's one of like my, even though it's a minor, like I agree with everything you said because it's like that's one of my favorite like subplot lines in a while because they could have dragged that.
Yeah, right. It could have dragged on for the entire season.
Yeah, not even just that. Like when after they like Lawrence talked to Issa, like when like Issa could have gone into the concert and been like, "Yeah, I met up with Lawrence. I just want you to know everything was good."
Exactly,
And
exactly.
she called him. It was a quick conversation that never came up again. I'm like, that's real.
Yeah.
That's not being
And that's
dragged.
smart on her part too, because like bringing it to a night where they're both supposed to be having fun, like before Condola ends up leaving early, or just different things like that. I think that was honestly just like, I guess that's kind of what this season is just trying to show us. It's just like if you have something to say, like kind of just say it, like say it in the best way that you can, but just say it honestly. That was
Yeah,
actually brought up a few times in this episode though.
I think it's just a theme that she's trying to hit across, though. Like if you like think about like how she ended off the end of season 3, where it's like I'm not doing any of this like new stuff. Like I'm just focusing on being with who I am. I think that like she's
Yeah.
actually following through with that. I guess also something that's really interesting and awesome about the facts that like she stars and writes in her own show is that like you see a lot of her own self awareness within that. Because,
Yeah.
like she
Yeah,
is
I
that.
think that's literally the main thing. Like being self-aware is so important, because other like how are you gonna expect others to like literally take you serious if you can't take yourself serious? You know what I mean? Like
That's
you
what I'm
just
saying.
have to like know who you are, know what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate. Because if you have kind of like no set of like standards, honestly, is really what it is for yourself, or no like code, like
And she could have been bringing
it's
like
not
an
good.
exaggerated version of herself, and I hate when people be doing that. Like, that's
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I'm like Kenya Barris, you don't act like that. I was like,
Ovi said, "How many shows are you gonna make?"
I get it.
Black AF, almost black AF.
Exactly. I'm like, I get it. Your wife is mixed. Like, you don't like.
I'm weak. Okay, so something that I literally did not remember at all in this episode was like kind of the whole relationship between Torian and Molly. What is that even about? Like, are they just
Oh,
coworkers that had a problem or something? Like,
yeah, when like it's kind of weird because they kind of underdeveloped Torian. Basically, like when Molly moved to the law firm, like he was like supposed to be like just like honestly like a bald ass lawyer hotep nigga. Like let's be real, like all like the women who were in the law firm were all like they didn't teach modesty at Morehouse. Not to dig at like the Morehouse dudes for being so like heteronormative and all that stuff.
yeah.
So I thought that was gonna be the plot, and then all of a sudden Molly was like she just ditched all the women and was like trying to get in with like Torian because he was like
Yeah.
a power mover. And then he went away for a weekend, and she just cut him out. And Torian went back with those other women, and then Molly was all alone.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, but like, all this for a court case? You
Yeah, it's being. I feel like that's the main thing too. It's kind of like being very dragged out, and I'm like, I guess it's just another like little mini storyline to add in there. But I feel like that level of pettiness is too much. Some people actually do be going through things like that at their jobs though, but like that would be crazy in a real life situation. Like what? How you beefing with your coworker? Like
Also,
real life beefing.
I also hate that line because it's like it's an unfair like. This is definitely like a hot take
Obi said warning before this goes live. This is a hot take.
I understand like why he's acting like that for as a character to be like, oh, I'm a guy who was upstrung by a woman and all that stuff. But I'm,
Yeah.
like, I'm tired of that. Like, I'm tired of that portrayal
Of that narrative in a sense, yeah,
like,
yeah.
We're not all like that. Like, and I'm telling you, it's like I know like there are mad niggas who are like that.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit that. Like, black men, we're problematic. We're
Yeah.
working on it.
But it's kind of like whatever is being broadcasted on the screen is what most people will assume the majority is like then.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
would like to end of this episode if he had been like, you know what, Molly, I'm sorry. Like, listen, like.
No, but I'm sure that'll come by the end. I would hope that would come by the end of the season is what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, at least she was open and honest with him finally when he was like, you know, like just spit it out. Like, what do you have to say? Like she said what she had to say.
That's one thing about Insecure is that all the dudes in the show who are like main characters, they always have such bad communication problems. Like when Issa and Daniel had that problem, and like she was like Daniel, don't act like you ain't fucking all these women. And his whole response was I.
Exactly. Yeah. No, literally.
All of a sudden, all he can say is I.
Right. Even Lawrence just rushing Issa off the phone, talking about, nope, goodbye. I'm like, dang, you couldn't even say, oh, my day's been good, but you know, I'm busy right now. He just said, nope, this conversation ends. And I said, oh, rude. Okay. Like, I just gave you a heads up. I just saved you a fight. Like, so how come you didn't tell me that you went to go see Issa? Like, it could have been a whole thing. Just saying.
Nah, yeah. Like, I get what she's saying. Like, I get the character's perspective. I just wish that she gave her male characters more of, like a leash than she does with her female characters. Because that's also another whole thing about, like, black women, where it's, like, black women are a lot more complex than, like, black men. And
oh, okay. Instead of, like...
one is more complex than another. That's just a stereotype that we put on black men. That's why they don't open up. Like, if you want to break these barriers, you can't have them break them. Come on, Issa.
And I think, yeah, the thing's ingrained in it too. Like, if a man is seen as like emotional, he's seen as like being weak and like not provider, like all these things, like all these stereotypes. It's kind of like reinforcing that, showing that like, oh no, I don't really want to open up because this is gonna happen, or like this happens to my friend. Like,
and then people believe that. Like, so hard to get these kids to open up at work. I'd be like, Ray, how's your day? He's like, everything's fine. I'm like, no, it's not.
He's saying everything's fine, but like it's like the little like dog there with like everything burning. Like everything is not fine, and it's okay if it's not fine, because you know like
yeah, everything's chill. I'm like, oh really? Because
yeah, that's why at least I think it's good though that like even people like Andrew, at least he was like able to open up to Molly in a sense and be like, honestly, like he just didn't necessarily want to talk about it, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't want to talk about it with her like ever. Like he's still gonna try, because I think that's what really most people want to hear. Like it's not gonna happen all at once. Like everyone obviously is on different levels, but as long as the person that you're with is like willing to like actually have the patience to be like, you know what, like I want to get to know you on that level, so I'm willing to actually try to give you that.
Again, I'm gonna be petty. Of course, it was the one non-black guy. I'm just saying. We have an all-black cast, and the one non-black is the one who has
Go get you an Asian bae. Obi put on his little Ankara hat and said, "Listen, this is the agenda they're trying to push."
It's like how you have that. No, literally, I'm like, how you have that.
I didn't even think about that. So.
And leave a condom in her.
Oh my gosh, that scene was literally so funny.
I was like, really, you had to do this to us, bro.
That was funny because someone was really like, "I'm not trying to see no more TSA cheeks on my screen." I'm like, wait. I want to see how that got there because I'm still so confused. Like, Issa, you know, do you, sis? But
it happens.
It happens, but I was just confused. I'm like, how did we get here?
It was really interesting at the end when she was telling Molly and Molly's eyes, she was like, "Oh, great, my friend's trashy." I was like, "Dang."
Yeah, and Molly in that sense too, like she didn't even pay Issa's story any mind. Like she literally tuned out, and I'm like, it kind of just shows that Molly, like, if the topic of conversation is not about her, even if she literally wasn't willing to just tell Issa that she was on the phone with Andrew, it's kind of like she just tunes it out.
Yeah, her character's really changed since like the beginning of season 3.
Yeah, Molly, I feel like now Molly's just like self-centered and just like also doesn't know what she wants out of life in general. And I feel like she's holding back a lot of like pain. So like she's just, I don't know. I don't even know. Like it's like she doesn't want to solve her problems either in a sense.
I do give her credit though, because I feel like they've switched positions where it was like seasons 1 and 2, Issa was the mess and Molly was
Exactly. Because Molly seemed like she had it all together, but
my whole thing about it is that like when that was the reverse, like Molly had Issa's back, whereas now it seems like
exactly. And even how she acted in the first episode, like basically the end of Issa's event, and all you want to talk about is Andrew. Like, what? Do you see the block party I just pulled together, and this is what you want to talk about? Like, it was fresh. It wasn't like it was towards the end. Like, it was fresh as soon as she got there. Like, nah, like sis.
But how many times did Issa interrupt Molly's job to complain about We Got Y'all or Daniel?
I mean, I'm not saying one is more right than the other, but I feel like more so the fact that, you know, Issa, like, Molly has always kind of, like, had it, I guess, good in a sense. So, like, the fact that this is Issa's, like, first big thing is more so the thing, like,
you could have waited a little bit.
Yeah, she could have waited a little bit, and she didn't even seem, like, too happy for her, like, too concerned with what was going on at the event, but just more so concerned with, like, Andrew. So it's just, like...
She seemed tight about the Lawrence thing. I think that, like, Lawrence to Molly represents Dro. So I'm like, when she sees like,
you think so?
Because it's like I remember there was a scene like I don't know why I remember this, but it was like Andrew at the baby shower where like Issa and like Lawrence are like talking about that stuff, and like Molly's like watching from the corner, and she's like smiling, and she walks over to Dro to like have the same thing, and he was like, "No, you can leave."
Oh, okay.
So I think that, like,
so it kind of like reminds her that like, oh, like Lawrence and Issa can kind of be cool, but like me and Dro didn't work out, so it's just like.
Yeah, because she loves that man.
Yeah, and again, like I think that's just more part of her self-discovery, because like she didn't even see how deep she was in until she was out of it. Like she was literally like obsessed with him.
That's the thing. I get the whole you can't help who you love thing, but it's like, what did you want? What did you think was gonna happen?
He was married.
Like, no one has energy for polyamory right now. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think probably my favorite scene of this episode was when Lawrence asks Condola, or basically Condola tells Lawrence about how like her and Issa had caught up the other day or whatever, and how he came up in conversation. And did you see his face as soon as Condola said Issa's name? He literally, his eyes got big. He said, Issa? He was just chilling, laying down, and said something, oh yeah, me and Issa. He said...
He was afraid.
Yeah, how would you feel in that situation?
The exact same way. 5 years of history with all the lows and icy dad, especially with like the fact that he was on the couch for like 3 years and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like a different man, and like that's the main like we all know Condola's like Tiffany. We're like, she's a nicer version, but she's still like high class and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he probably was thinking, wow, what if Issa was like talking about like it was really hard for us when he was on the couch.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even think about it in that sense. Like, I thought it would just be more so just like stories of like stuff that like didn't work out in a sense, but not really how he was struggling. I didn't even think about that. That makes sense a lot.
I feel like his whole thing is like, if anything's gonna come stuff that's gonna be linked to at least that stuff.
Yeah.
You want your new girlfriend to know. You also don't want her to know. I feel like about like maybe this guy's perspective about like the fact that she cheated on him. And that's why they broke up. Because if it wasn't for that, they'd still be together.
And a lot of guys don't. Yeah, a lot of guys don't like admitting the fact that they've been cheated on too. So like that's also like a topic that it's like, if this were to happen in a real life situation to you, what would your next order of business be? Should Issa, like should the girlfriend and the ex-girlfriend be friends, or like how would you feel about that?
My whole thing about it is that like it's not my. I'm not gonna let any relationship tell me who I can and can't be friends with. Like I gonna give like anyone with the same respect. I do think though, like I agree with him like texting her. Like you guys at the end of the day, you guys were together for 5 years. That's history. Like, great grandparents, all that shit. Like so you could hit her up and be like, hey, just so you know, It's one thing if it's like we dated for 3 weeks and all that stuff. I'm not gonna mind you, but it's a 5-year thing. I thought he handled that. Like I thought it was cool that he didn't go in like guns blazing and he didn't do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Like he could have been like way more upset, but I think he was like he showed that he was concerned, but like not like overly concerned. But then not like, oh yeah, like that's cool, it's whatever. It still showed that he was like a little bit bothered by it, but like he just like, what exactly are y'all talking about? Like y'all can talk about everything else except for me.
There's a lot of love in that relationship, at least on his part. Like I think she's over him, but I think that like he loves her.
Lawrence loves Issa?
Yeah.
You think so? I see him being like completely over her. Like I don't even think. Especially the way that he was just so dismissive. I don't know. I don't, like, the fact that he just pulled up to the house. I guess he had called her before, though. But I don't know, like, couldn't that have just been a phone conversation? Like, he must got time.
That's gotta be an in-person conversation.
You think so?
Yeah.
Not phone? Not even FaceTime?
I would do it in person. I think if you do it over the phone, it's drag. It's like...
Drag? It's more drag to pull up on me. What?
No, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they had a 5-year relationship. Like, I think he clearly texted her before, but she knew that she was coming out. She said, like, hey, I'm coming. Like, I think that, like, in that situation, if you guys were living together, or talking about what to see rings and all that, you don't have to do shit like that over the phone. You could have, like, conversations about, like, that.
I think more so just because it was a real short conversation. Like, that was 5 minutes. Like, did you need to see me for 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah. But, like, if, like, my thing is, like, if I'm only putting the gas, I don't think it's, like, I can see why, like, people would do a phone call. I would personally do it in person, just because, like, you can also, like, you understand what people are trying to say a lot better in person.
No, I mean, that's definitely true. And especially, like, with body language and everything.
Facts.
That is true.
Trying to, like, you don't want something like that to get lost in something, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I'm just coming at me mad hard.
Yeah, and I think that kind of made it more serious too. Like I took my time out of my day to like actually come and see you in person and let you know that, you know, like this thing actually bothered me. So like, chill if you can.
It was serious though. Like it's serious. It's just not drag. Like, you know.
No, I think serious. I don't know. Like it was more serious than like just a calm, like a phone call. Like this is like, all right, like let me actually like see you in person and just like see how you feel about it.
But it's also a phone call. It's like. You're like, hey, how are you? We haven't talked in a while. So listen, I noticed that, like, I like, me personally, I'm just so awkward in the phone with that stuff. I'd be like,
right? Oh, he's like, dang, I'm supposed to be cutting to the chase right now. What's going on?
I wouldn't be able to. In person, I could be like, hey, listen.
No, I honestly, that actually makes a lot more sense too, because there's been times where sometimes, like, I'll plan out a call, like, literally write down what I want to say. And then I get on the phone, like, oh, yeah, so, yeah, what have you been up to? Glancing down like you were supposed to be in attack mode right now. What is going on?
Let's be on sentence 3 right now. I haven't even started.
I'm crying. Wait, you do that too?
Sometimes, yeah. If I'm going for like a roast, I'm like, okay.
No, it's true because you be tight when you miss something. Like, listen, I meant to say it like this.
Something and then they bring it up, and you're like, damn, that was my next point.
Back related to that whole situation with like Lawrence and Condola, I like when Lawrence told his friends about this situation. I forget which one it was. I think it was Derek, but he was like, yeah, I wouldn't let that shit happen to me though. I said, oh.
Sorry, man.
I'm gonna tickle you again.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
Derek and Tiffany, I want to know more about the relationship because
I want to know too. It's like he seems so low key, but I'm like, wasn't it low key revealed that like he was like kind of on the down low? Like, did we never develop that? Is that gonna develop more this season?
He was cheating on her?
No, I thought that he was gay.
Oh, I thought the whole thing was that she lived in a separate apartment. No, he lived in a separate.
No, I think that it was because he was gay or like something. That's what I think it was. Like there was just like a really small clue that hinted towards that, but aside from that, like they never talked about it. So it's like we can only just assume.
I want to see more Tiffany and Kelly. I think we're gonna see a lot of Tiffany this season because they hate us, but I want to see more of Kelly because
First of all, I didn't even know that Tiffany had a job. Like I still don't know what her job is. What is?
she does whatever Condola does. LA things. LA just be making jobs up for
I was about to say that. It sounds like content marketer, something. I don't know, but honestly, that's the lit part about this generation because you literally can make money doing like anything. New fields are happening every day. I'm like, wow, this is. You can literally learn everything on like YouTube too. I'm like, okay, might as well take advantage.
We literally live in such like a beautiful time to be a creative. Like if you have an idea and you have like the drive to do it and you can market it or like you can connect yourself with people, like you can really make any idea happen. I love it. I think that's why this is our like are doing so well because for the longest time, ideas we just didn't have the vessels to do them.
Exactly, and especially now with social media too, how you literally can just blast your message to everyone. When Molly and Issa, I guess, were supposed to meet up for their like little lunch date or whatever the case may be, and Condola happened to be there with Issa first. I thought that, you know, like, first of all, Condola was already leaving, so I thought she was just gonna leave. I didn't expect for Issa to, like, be like, oh, yeah, stay, specifically only because Molly was like, oh, like, we'll just catch up at our next lunch date. I feel like if I was in Molly's position, I would just be like,
Yeah, I'd be
like,
too.
yeah, like, especially now that we're adults, like, it's not like this is school where they see each other every day, where they talk for the phone on hours every day, like, clearly there's been something going on with Molly, and it's kind of like this was her one opportunity since the last one. They weren't really able to talk about what they needed to talk about. So I don't know. Like I don't think that Issa like meant to like I don't think she saw the seriousness of it in a sense. You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, like I do that with Jackie all the time. So like, I can relate to you so with that.
But like, yeah, like they're coming too. It should be fine, right?
Because Korean barbecue plans for like 2 weeks straight, tell you something really like serious, and I'll be like, oh yeah, this girl from work. But nah, I get that. Like, I think it's just a disconnect. I think that's the hard thing about being in adult friendships is that like because we don't get to communicate so often, you don't know like what's actually serious now. Because it's like when I heard you complain about things for the past 20 years, how are you not complaining?
Exactly. No, that's actually very true too. It's like we could have talked about it earlier, but then you didn't bring it up. But then now you want to bring it up. But then it's like I didn't know that it was that serious because it's like, could it really be that serious if you wanted to wait this long? It's kind of like different things like that.
It's facts. Let me tell you this. What? Last week I was traveling on the highway.
Oh, he said actually I have a relatable story.
Jackie called me and said something like serious. No, she texted me and said something serious. I was changing the song. So I pulled over like weird on the highway on the Palisades. I was like, oh my goodness, is she okay? And all this stuff. She was like, listen to this. And I was like, oh my god, what hospital are you at? Who was it? And she was like, so Marcus didn't take out the trash. I said, kept driving. I said,
are you serious?
I've heard this story my entire life. I was like, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. Even though like someone like Jackie, like I told you, Jackie just probably looks like Issa talks to like Molly, and it's like even with that, like we have different lives. Even with this,
and yeah, sometimes you literally can just misread certain things or just like think that they may have been cool with it without even like really remembering to check with them. So
exactly. Just when you've been friends for so long, you just kind of like take that stuff for granted.
Yeah, and it's like we've had like hundreds of lunches. Like, what's the problem with adding this person this one time? But then to Molly, it's kind of like this was supposed to be our thing. But then Issa's just like, yeah, like let's all be friends. And then Molly was kind of like just being rude towards Condola the whole time, though. I was like, oh, Molly, why you gotta be so stank? Like, it's one thing to be stush, but she was being stank.
I think a part of her is low-key also still looking out for Issa, because it's like eventually we know that's like.
I know what you mean though. Like she doesn't want Issa to get her head too far ahead with this girl, because it's kind of like at any second Lawrence could be like, I don't want y'all to be friends anymore.
And you know Condola do it, or like even before like Condola was like, wait, is she crazy? Like it's like.
Right. She already like low key questioned you, but you don't even know that. Like you're just seeing her as this like perfect person.
Exactly. I don't know. I get that. Like it's just been like mad trusting with how many people, like all these people in who like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Frida.
We
really need to bring her back. Like,
oh yes, from We Got Y'all. She was so nice and passionate.
I loved her. She was like, white people have had enough time.
Yes, she was the best. Right. She's just aware of what her people are doing.
I'm not gonna say where I see things going because, like, honestly, I feel like
You said it's not up to me. They already filmed it. Let's just.
I realize I'm really bad at guessing these things because I did not expect episode 2 to like have like episode 1 for me was very very heavy hearted. Like it was like less on like the humor and more on like the seriousness.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that like last episode was very like let's set the tone. Like this is not gonna be your typical Insecure episode.
This one felt like the kind of Insecure that like I knew and loved, and like
yeah.
The thing about Insecure is that like I started watching Insecure like right after I graduated from grad school. Now I was at this period where I was like, I went into a nonprofit just like Issa did, and it was like seeing that like contention.
Oh my gosh, literally, I relate to Issa too, because that's why I moved into an apartment by myself. I was like, yes, let me just get an apartment, you know, do my own thing, and that's right after I broke up with my ex.
Shows like Insecure, shows like white people, shows like Atlanta, just showing that.
I love Atlanta.
Yeah, like
showing like the real Black experience, honestly.
That's what I'm saying, like the fact that there's not one combined real Black experience, that there's so many. Like,
yeah, exactly. We have depth.
Yeah,
the depth that Molly seeks, we have it.
Yeah, that was part of the reason why like found me like that's part of the reason that motivated me to like found like the website, like the idea of intersectionality and that we're not just one voice of people, and like that we need to listen to each other to like speak. And like every single time I watch an Insecure episode, I realize how important that is. How important you got an all Black cast and they're all so hella different, you know. Like,
exactly, right. We're not all just typical. Cause like I like it how they still included like okay like a typical character like Kelly, but then showing that like we're more than just Kellys. Because a lot of times like when Black people are casted in other movies, they'll just give them like oh like the funny Black girl or like the basketball player or football player Black man, you know.
Even like a character like Kelly, like they're all still rich and successful. Like
Kelly's yeah, exactly. Because it shows that she can be goofy, but like she's still doing her thing. Like
yeah, there's no Black people who are living in like poverty here on like welfare checks and all that stuff, and like that's what we've seen our entire
yeah, because like yeah, like even though that is a reality for some people, like that's not for the majority. And then also like you have to showcase everybody, not just one same thing over and over and over again.
And I think it's important that we realize now that like it's not like kids, but like teenagers have access to all these shows now too. And, like,
that's the weird thing too. Literally, my little brother.
Insecure, they know what
no, my little brother literally started to watch All American, and I'm like, I don't know if this is the show for you. I'm just saying.
If they're gonna be watching shows like that, it's important that the representations that they see of themselves and like older people are like diverse, so they don't think that there's just one way to be a Black man or a Black woman. You know, like
yeah,
it's for them to grow up with that message because we didn't. We grew up with like.
Well, I'm thinking back. I'm like, wait, hold on. We have My Wife and Kids. That was good.
Okay, but like we had shows like My Wife and Kids, and Girlfriends, all those shows.
Bernie Mac.
They all had similar, you know, like you had the strict dad, Black dad, who was like either there, or then you had like the whimsical mom who was like, it was just like.
It was just typical, yeah, like another show of the same thing, kind of.
Have you ever seen like or read the expose dark skin Aunt Viv did on their like? She made this crazy about like the rest of the Fresh Prince class, and she was like, Will Smith is the most insufferable human being ever. I was like,
oh,
Aunt Viv.
Wait, so that's why she left?
Yeah, she hated Will Smith. She hated him.
Oh, that sounds spicy. I always knew that she left, but I didn't know like the actual reason. So, Obi, why don't you go ahead and talk to us about your latest project? We Are Intersectional.
So yeah, so basically, kind of inspired by just following my own path and like trailing my creative voice. During this whole period, I decided to create a website called The Intersection. So The Intersection is a media website that'll be launching on May 1st. I realized that like there's only so many places that we can put our work, you know, like as like creatives who like we all have voices, not of us, we kind of have voices through writing. And for writing, you know, you have sites like the Medium, which are amazing sites, but there's just so many different posts and things there that like a lot of key voices get drowned out from other perspectives. And the idea that a lot of like the big news sites, they want a certain voice, you know, like you have like liberal media, you have sites like The Root that are the Black voice, you have things like Blabbing, which is a different kind of Black voice, like, but we're more than that. We're more than just like, I see who I am, and I'm like, I'm not just a Black person. I'm a Black man who's first generation from Africa. I don't who's grew up in the city but then moved upstate, and is like I have all these different privileges.
He said layers. Listen.
Right.
Can we talk about that time in Ghana? Just saying. If you know, you know, because Obi got a whole a whole system working for him in Ghana.
Problematic. I am. I said, I literally went into Ghana thinking
Obi
that
knows
that was the
everyone.
no, literally, I was. I literally went. Y'all, everyone wants to come to Ghana with me in December. I got you with the hookup. I know.
He
There.
knows the
I got
spots,
you.
everything.
Culture Center, we got the hookup there. I got you. Moving pick, we got the
You
hookup there.
love
Just
to
let me
see
know.
it. Our own
We got
personal
you.
tour guide.
What's the year after the year of the return calls?
The year of the return part 2.
Part 2. We going back.
Honestly, let's make it a hashtag right now.
Facts, but so much of like that experience founded this website because being in Ghana and seeing the privilege that I had, and privilege that I never focused on being in America. I focused on how hard it is to be a black man, but I had the privilege of growing up in a household where I got to get an education. I got to go to college, get a master's degree, and so many people don't have that. So when we focus and we write about issues, it's important that we honor those intersections. So I wanted to create a site that not only gave people the chance to post those articles, but also to respond to other people's like perspectives and points and be like, I understand why you said that, but this is where I'm coming from with this identity perspective. And that's dialogue. A big problem that we have in our world nowadays, nobody know how to talk to each other. For example, like I posted an article one time and it was all about I hate being called African American because they're the term African American derives from people who are descendants of enslaved Africans. When my family moved to America in the 1970s, I don't have that direct tie to civil rights movement. So I was like, guys, like, all
literally growing up every time in history class when slavery is mentioned.
Why are they looking at us?
Everyone look. I'm just like Nigerian.
I don't. What?
Yeah.
I literally used to be like, yo,
That was definitely an interesting dynamic because it's kind of like we're black, but like we're not African American. So it's kind of like we don't necessarily relate 100%. It's a lot of the things that people who are just African American do. So it's like we're black, but then it's not like, unless you're assimilated into the culture in a sense or like get to know what it is through your experiences, you're kind of just gonna either know one side or the other. That's how it is for a lot of people.
It's so interesting that you said that because like what we were talking about the other day about like how common it is now for people who are African American to like claim African lineage and to like put like the Nigerian and Ghanaian flags.
Yeah.
That used to really bother me. I used to feel that, but then someone responded to one of my articles and was like, you have to understand, like, the only reason that, like, we are doing that as black African Americans is because we don't have that lineage on our own because it was stolen from us. So we're trying to reclaim that. And I, like, have this weird tension where it's like, I never thought about it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like, why are you wearing kente cloth? Okay,
yeah,
great.
because it's like we never thought of it like that because we never had to, you know, like we always grew up with the culture. We always grew up with all these traditions, all these things, being able to call a whole nother country home. And it's definitely something that I feel like maybe we take it for granted in a sense because it's like you literally can't choose what you're born into, but to be born into something so rich in culture, it's kind of like you just have to be more appreciative of it.
You do, and like that's one thing that I'm trying to do more of. And at the same time, I'm holding like my African American friends to a higher standard of like, then respect our culture fully.
Obi said, I got a checklist now. Listen.
No, yeah, like it's not enough for you to like name your kid Kofi and dance to the Beto without experience behind it. Like if your kid's born on a Wednesday and its name is Kofi, I'm making you change that name. Kofis are Wednesdays. No, Kofis are Mondays, Kwakus are Wednesdays. Don't get it twisted. Okay?
He said, listen, if you're going to use it, you're going to use it right. Okay, guys, so that brings us to the end of our discussion on Insecure today. So go ahead and let's thank our special guest, Obi.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a blast.
I like how I was supposed to be thanking you, and then you end up thanking me. So I'm like, yep, I was here.
Honestly, this whole experience that we've been here for the past month, it's really taught me to appreciate experiences like this, like getting to be in a podcast with someone that like I respect and look up to.
Oh wow, thanks, Obi.
Don't gas yourself.
As you can see, I'm clearly gassed.
No, yeah, I'm done. I just want to say bye. Thank everyone for having me. Stay safe. Stay positive. You guys got this. We'll make it through this.
Amen.
Stay your ass inside, please.
Yes, honestly. So as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in today and for supporting me. And of course, as always, if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and also to turn on those post notifications so that you know what I'm posting. And also, guys, if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure to follow me on Instagram at chinezeslife. If you're not following me on Twitter, make sure to follow me at chinezeslife. I literally will tweet through the Insecure episode, everything like that. Today's review was super fun, as of course I have my friend Obi, my longtime friend on here, and just chopping it up and being able to like catch up on Insecure. Also guys, don't forget to check out Obi's Instagram, also his blog page that will be launching on May 1st. I'll put that link down in my bio so that you guys can have access to that as well. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and I can't wait to share my thoughts with you all. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.